Hare Krishna, Vishwaguru Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. What is the shastric basis for following the Rtvik system of initiations as per the July 9th, 1977 order of Srila Prabhupada? This is the question which we will try to address today. In response to this question, let us hear about a wonderful pastime of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, which is described in the 10th chapter of the Madhya Lila of the Chaitanya Charitamrita. One day in Jagannath Puri, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was talking about Lord Krishna's pastimes with Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya and other devotees. At that time, a new devotee came there and introduced himself to be Govinda, the personal servant of Srila Ishwarapuri, the spiritual master of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Govinda informed everyone that Srila Ishwarapuri was no more. But before Srila Ishwarapuri disappeared, Srila Ishwarapuri had ordered Govinda to go to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and be his personal servant. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was very glad to hear that Govinda was his god brother and that Srila Ishwarapuri had very mercifully sent Govinda to be his personal servant. Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya then expressed a doubt to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Govinda had been born in a Shudra family. Srila Ishwarapuri happened to have been born in a Brahmana family. According to the Shastras, a Brahmana guru is forbidden from accepting a disciple born in a lower family. The Shastras also forbid a Brahmana guru from accepting a person born in a lower family as his personal servant. A Brahmana guru can accept only a person born in a Brahmana family as his disciple or his personal servant. Hence, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, who we all know was a learned scholar in the Vedas, and he was aware of this injunction in the Shastras, he asked Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, why did Srila Ishwarapuri accept Govinda, who was not born in a Brahmana family, as his disciple and as his personal servant? This is against the Shastras. In response, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said that both Krishna and the spiritual master are completely independent and not subject to the rules and regulations of the Vedas. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave the example of how Lord Krishna, although a Kshatriya, accepted the hospitality and food at the home of Vidura, who was considered a Shudra. A Brahmana and a Kshatriya are not supposed to accept hospitality and food from a person born in a lower family. But Krishna bestowed his mercy on Vidura, disregarding the Vedic rules and regulations. That is because Krishna, being the supreme personality of Godhead, is beyond the Vedic injunctions. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu quoted this Leela of Krishna, and he said, similarly, the spiritual master, being the authorized representative of Krishna, is also beyond the Vedic injunctions. And hence, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, Srila Ishwarapuri could act in contravention to the Vedic injunctions and accept Govinda, born in a Shudra family, as his disciple and his personal servant. Srila Prabhupada explains this in the purport to the 136th verse of the 10th chapter of the Madhya Lila of the Chaitanya Charitamrita thus. Govinda came from a Shudra family, but because he was initiated by Ishwarapuri, he was certainly a Brahmana. Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya here asked Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu why Ishwarapuri accepted a disciple from a Shudra family. According to the Smriti Shastra, which gives directions for the management of the Varnashrama institution, a Brahmana cannot accept a disciple from the lower castes. In other words, a Kshatriya, Vaishya or Shudra cannot be accepted as a servant. If a spiritual master accepts such a person, he is contaminated. Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya therefore asked why Ishwarapuri accepted a servant or disciple born of a Shudra family. In answer to this question, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu replied that his spiritual master, Ishwarapuri, was so empowered that he was as good as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. As such, Ishwarapuri was the spiritual master of the whole world. He was not a servant of any mundane rule or regulation. An empowered spiritual master like Ishwarapuri can bestow his mercy upon anyone, irrespective of caste or creed. The conclusion is that an empowered spiritual master is authorized by Krishna and his own Guru and should therefore be considered as good as the Supreme Personality of Godhead Himself. That is the verdict of Vishwanatha Chakravarti. Sakshad Haritvena. An authorized spiritual master is as good as Hari, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. As Hari is free to act as he likes, the empowered spiritual master is also free. As Hari is not subject to mundane rules and regulations, the spiritual master empowered by him is also not subject. According to the Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Lila, chapter 7, verse 11, Krishna Shakti Vina Nahe Tare Pravartana. An authorized spiritual master, empowered by Krishna, can spread the glories of the holy name of the Lord, for he has power of attorney from the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In the mundane world, anyone possessing his master's power of attorney can act on behalf of his master. Similarly, a spiritual master empowered by Krishna through his own bona fide spiritual master should be considered as good as the Supreme Personality of Godhead Himself. That is the meaning of Sakshad Haritvena. Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya gladly accepted the shastric conclusion given by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Important to note here is that as Srila Prabhupada says in the purport, an empowered spiritual master like Ishwarapuri can bestow his mercy upon anyone, irrespective of caste or creed. How does the spiritual master become empowered? Srila Prabhupada says in the purport, the conclusion is that an empowered spiritual master is authorized by Krishna and his own Guru and should therefore be considered as good as the Supreme Personality of Godhead Himself. And Srila Prabhupada also says in the same purport, a spiritual master empowered by Krishna through his own bona fide spiritual master should be considered as good as the Supreme Personality of Godhead Himself. So the spiritual master is empowered by being authorized by Krishna and his own Guru. The spiritual master is empowered by Krishna through his own bona fide spiritual master. That means spiritual master must be authorized by his Guru. Only then can he act as a spiritual master, as Sakshad Haritvena, as good as Krishna. One cannot become spiritual master automatically by some impersonal law of disciplic succession. One must be ordered specifically by one spiritual master to act as Guru. Only then is he empowered to act as Guru. Only then can he become a Diksha Guru who is Sakshad Haritvena for his disciple. Such a spiritual master does not have to follow the rules and regulations of the Shastras. Whatever he orders becomes Shastra. This means that even if there is an injunction in the Vedas which forbids a Rtvik system of initiations after the disappearance of the spiritual master, since Srila Prabhupada ordered such a system, In his July 9, 1977 directive, it becomes the duty of the disciple to disregard such Vedic injunction and instead follow Srila Prabhupada's July 9th order to implement the Rtvik system of initiations. This is the shastric conclusion as taught by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself in the example of Srila Ishwara Puri. Hold on, we are not finished yet. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's pastime is still not over. After Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu clarified Srila Ishwara Puri's actions in contravention of Vedic injunctions, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu then put up a question to Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya in order to clarify the matter further. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu informed Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya that Govinda, being his god brother, was respectable for him, and as per etiquette, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu could not engage Govinda as his own personal servant. But at the same time, Srila Ishwara Puri had ordered him to accept Govinda as his personal servant. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu asked the Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya now what he should do. Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya responded, Gurura ajna haya balavan, Guru ajna na langhiye, Shastra pramana. Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya said that Shastra pramana, the scriptural injunction, is that Gurura ajna, the order of the Guru, is very powerful, balavan, and cannot be disobeyed under any circumstances. Na langhiye. Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya then quoted two verses to support his statement. The first one from the Raghuvamsha states, Sasushruvan matari bhargavena pitur niyogat prahritam dvishadvat pratyagrihid agraja shasanam tad ajna gurunam hi avicharaniya. Srila Prabhupada translates this, being ordered by his father, Parashurama killed his mother, Renuka, just as if she were an enemy. When Lakshmana, the younger brother of Lord Ramachandra, heard of this, he immediately engaged himself in the service of his elder brother and accepted his orders. The order of the spiritual master must be obeyed without consideration. Ajna gurunam avicharaniya. Order of the spiritual master must be obeyed without consideration. This is Shastra pramana. Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya then quoted another verse from the Ramayana. Nirvicharam gurorajna maya karya mahatmanaha sheyo hyevam bhavatyascha mama chaiva visheshataha, which Srila Prabhupada translates, the order of a great personality like a father must be executed without consideration, because there is good fortune in such an order for both of us. In particular, there is good fortune for me. These words were spoken by Lord Ramachandra himself. Nirvicharam guror ajna. Order of the spiritual master must be executed without consideration. The moment Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu heard this from Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, he gave up all his hesitation and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu embraced Govinda and engaged him in his personal service. From this pastime, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu taught us two things. One is that when the spiritual master orders something, the disciple must not consider the decision, whether it is as per Shastra or whether it is violating any etiquette or tradition, etc. The disciple's duty is to simply follow the order implicitly without any doubt. When Srila Prabhupada has ordered the Rtvik system of initiations, particularly for the time after his disappearance, it is our duty to implicitly follow it without any other consideration of Shastra or tradition or etiquette or parampara, etc. The second thing that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu teaches us in this pastime is that it is the foremost duty of the disciple to follow the order of the spiritual master as established by the examples of Lord Ramachandra himself as well as Lord Parashurama and, of course, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself in following Srila Ishwara Puri's order. This is Shastra Pramana or the injunction of the Shastras. Thus, we learn 5 things from this pastime of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Number 1, Guru, who is ordered to become Guru by his own Guru, is empowered to be as good as Krishna. Number 2, Guru is not bound by the rules and regulations of the Shastras. Number 3, Guru's order is not subject to consideration or doubt or verification by the disciple. Number 4, Guru's order must be followed by the disciple implicitly. And number 5, Guru's order is most powerful, more powerful than all the injunctions in the Shastras. Hence, Srila Prabhupada's July 9th order to implement the Rtvik system of initiations in ISKCON, particularly when Prabhupada is no longer with us, is not subject to consideration. Whether there is any reference to it in Shastra, whether it is as per tradition, whether it is as per the law of disciplic succession, etc. Shastra pramana, the pramana of the Shastras is that Gurura ajna balavan. Guru's order is very powerful and overrules all injunctions in the Shastras. This is what the Shastras are stating. Forget about finding a reference in the Shastras to support the Rtvik system of initiations. Even if someone finds a quote in the Shastras which forbids Rtvik initiations after the disappearance of the spiritual master, even if there is such an injunction in the Shastras themselves say that since Srila Prabhupada, who is a bona fide empowered spiritual master, ordered the Rtvik system, particularly for the time after his disappearance, it therefore becomes mandatory for the devotees in ISKCON to neglect such an injunction, even if it exists in the Shastras, and to unreservedly, unhesitatingly follow Srila Prabhupada's Rtvik system of initiations without consideration of Shastra or tradition or etiquette or parampara or precedence or any other such consideration. So, the real question is not whether Rtvik system of initiations is as per Shastra or not. The real question is obeying Srila Prabhupada's July 9th order, implementing the Rtvik system of initiations, is obeying that order of Srila Prabhupada as per Shastra or not. The Rtvik system of initiations is not under debate. What is under debate is actually whether to follow Srila Prabhupada's July 9th order or not. We are not in the least concerned whether the Rtvik system of initiations is as per Shastra or not. We are least bothered about that. What we are concerned about is that we must follow Srila Prabhupada's direct order, the July 9th directive to implement Rtvik system of initiations in ISKCON. That's what we are concerned with. The GBC, by following the unauthorized Guru system, disobeying Srila Prabhupada's July 9th order, are therefore going against Shastra. Their actions are not supported by Shastra. The ISKCON law 6.4.7.2 banning Srila Prabhupada's July 9th order is against Shastra Pramana. Hence, Srila Prabhupada's ISKCON group, which follows the Rtvik system of initiations as ordered by Srila Prabhupada on July 9, 1977, is actually following the Shastra Pramana. Hare Krishna, Vishwaguru Srila Prabhupada ki Jai.